over the rubric for your FSA writing. Can you give one to anyone who doesn't have one? Thank you. We're going to go over this. Okay? Yes, I am recording this lesson. No one should be in the frame. I apologize if I'm on and off screen for those who are going to be watching this. This way, if you guys get confused when going over this, you can go back and rewatch the lesson that is being taught currently, okay? That's what this is for. That's why I'm doing this. And this way, people who are not here every day to get my lessons every single day will be able to actually see what's going on in school. I'm going to try doing this for anything that I do, unless I have you guys working independently like I normally sometimes do. Okay? Have you guys seen this before, this rubric?
Yeah. No. Yesterday.
No. Yes, yesterday.
Before yesterday, have you guys seen this?
Never.
Never. This is the FSA scoring rubric for your writing.
Oh, yeah.
This is how they score you, and this is what we need to hit.
Oh, yeah, I saw this in first grade.
Okay? So this is everything that we need to make sure we are hitting when we are writing. How many of you actually know how to write an essay? Awesome. Okay? You have a write score coming up. And you're going to be doing that, I believe, in homerooms. I'm not sure yet. However, what we need to do is review this and go over a sample essay and make sure they're hitting everything and see why they're graded as they're graded. Okay, what are they missing? What do they still need? So, to have a perfect 4, we have several different categories. You have purpose, focus, and organization, evidence, and elaboration. Do you guys know what those words mean? Kind of, sort of. Okay, so in order to score a 4 on your rubric, your response needs to be fully sustained and consistently focused. Okay, needs a purpose, audience. Okay, you need to know who you're talking to.
Do you underline that?
Yes, please. Whatever I do on the board, I want you doing on your paper, because this way I know you're paying attention.
Wait. I'm gonna highlight it.
So for right now, I want you just to kind of close your computers and pay attention to what's going on up here. Because everyone should have a paper copy of this in school here.
Does everyone have a highlighter that wants one?
I gave everyone a highlighter, so
Okay, good.
whether they want it or not. Okay, we need clear and controlling
And then you can
ideas.
Do a little bit, then you can go.
Do you guys know what all this means? Do you understand what I'm talking about here? Okay, when we write, if you are not specific, you're not answering the question, you are going off topic, going every which way, you are not going to score a 4. Okay? Organization is a big thing. How are your paragraphs organized? Purpose is pretty much, what are you writing about? Does your writing actually have a purpose? Are you actually answering the question at hand? Okay? This is all very important. Ms. Jurshak's going to be coming in maybe a little bit later in this period. She had a meeting this morning. And she's going to help me go over this with you guys and give you some more details and more understanding. Okay? You need effective organization. Means it has to go in a certain order. You're not jumping from one topic to another. That's very, very important. All eyes should be on me and nowhere else. Your eyes are out the window, then you need to turn and face me, please. Thank you. Okay? Coherence and completeness. Is it easily understood? Are you using complete sentences?
Yeah.
How many of you have been told by me that you need to use complete sentences and cite details? And have to go back and redo some things because you're missing that? Probably quite a few. Some of you probably haven't heard it from me, but you do need to do that. When you answer questions, especially here, you need to be able to cite text. You need to be able to use a complete sentence and have a complete thought. And you're not just answering, the author states this because, and then that's it. You need to elaborate, you need to expound, you need to write more. We need to hear more of your thoughts, okay? Controlling idea. Each paragraph has a controlling idea, a controlling thought, okay? You're focusing on one thing at a time. You're not focusing at 5 different things and jumping from one to another, okay? This is what you need to score 4. Okay, transitional strategies. We're going to go over those later. Okay? Can you take attendance on my computer? Pull up my focus and take attendance for me.
I'm sorry.
Can you pull up focus and take attendance for me? Okay? You need to clarify. That's a big thing. Relationships of ideas, okay? How do these ideas relate to one another? How many of you feel like you would score 4? Because you actually do all this in your writing. Okay, at least you're honest. Okay? We talked about logical progression. That just means, does it flow going from one thing to another? Does it progress normally? Or are you jumping from one thing to another? You need to have a satisfying introduction and conclusion. Who can tell me what goes into an introduction paragraph? Dylan.
What you're writing about?
Okay, so the main idea of your paper, what are you writing about?
A hook.
A hook. That's important. You need a hook statement. Right? How are you going to get the person reading this essay into actually reading it? Or are they going to be bored right off the bat and not want to read it? Okay, those are very important to do. What else do you need? Julia?
Support.
Okay, maybe what you're going to support your idea with. Do you guys know what that main idea sentence is called? What the actual name of it is?
Topic.
Okay, there's another more specific name to a topic sentence. You guys know what it is? It's called a thesis statement.
Do we write it in the box?
That's the only place I can write. I would write wherever you can. You can use a pencil or what you have. Okay, a thesis statement. Okay, it's going to tell me what your paper is about. And so you have the general idea. Then you have the specific supporting. Am I spelling supporting wrong? This is an I, not an N. An M, it's an I, N-G. I don't like this thing. It doesn't like to write nicely for me.
Wait, what is that? What?
Supporting. This is not writing.
What is that?
This?
No, down.
Supporting.
What is that? What is that word? Is that O?
That's an O. I can't write today.
Okay.
Okay. Supporting information. What are each of your paragraphs going to be about?
So do I click save?
Yes. So if you write an argumentative essay, you're going to state your first topic. What would you add to it? What would you be supporting information that would go on the end of your thesis statement? Your why, okay?
Oh.
Right? So, here is my argument, right? Informative. Here is what I'm going to inform you on. And to be specific, we are going to talk about this and this, okay? Breaking it down a little bit more into specifics. Hi, Miss Yershak. Welcome.
I was able to sneak out.
We're just starting to go over this,
Perfect.
and we are recording. So, please jump in, join us.
Yeah, definitely.
Kids
Are
are,
you next to the T?
no, that's an ION.
Oh, okay.
This doesn't like to write nicely.
Hi everybody, my name's Miss Yershak. I'm the reading coach here. I just want to say hi.
She's going to join us for a couple of these throughout this week and next week as we write our essays. So you're going to see a lot of her. She's awesome and she's been helping me out. For those of you who are going to watch this, Miss Yershak is going to be joining us here. No one can see you because you're off on the side.
Okay.
Alright, so we just started going over what makes a 4 and we were working on the first one with purpose, focus, and organization and highlighting our keywords and
The last word,
information,
the one above it.
supporting. I can't write.
Oh.
So you have thesis statement, what your paper is about and specific supporting information.
S-P-E-C-I-F-I-C.
Oh gosh.
Want me to go slower? S-P-E-C. I-F-I-C.
Alright.
Specific.
So to have a 4 in evidence, when we say evidence, what do we mean?
No E, just C.
What do we mean by evidence?
You went into the text or to research what you're writing about and
Yeah, exactly. You go back into the text and find information to support your topic, your main ideas of each paragraph, what you're actually talking about. Now, does that mean you're just copying word for word what's in there? No, not necessarily. You can, but what do you have to do in order to show that?
quotation marks.
Quotation marks, that's the very important thing. Okay, you need quotation marks. If you are copying word for word, what else do you need?
What the author said.
Right, where is it coming from? So you can say, in the reading passage by Maya Angelou, she talks about, and then give the quote. Or you can give the quote and put where it comes from, the page number or whatever like that.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay. If you want to, you can pin cushion it to the yellow thing,
Okay.
if that works. Okay? So those are important. You need to cite where your stuff is. So when I ask you to support things with text evidence, how many of you actually do that, or do you skip over that and forget about it?
Oh, we're putting text evidence in what you're saying? Oh, I do that all the time.
I put way too much.
Okay, because I've been looking at your writings, okay? Asking you the questions about your text. Very few of you actually give me information from the text to support your answer. And you just give me because. What do you need to do before you use the word because when you answer a question?
Will you restate the question?
You need to restate the question. The author expresses emotion by showing how sad the character is because, okay? Just an example, not something that we're actually going to look at, okay? Okay, so that's evidence. That's something we really need and it's super, super important. So it needs to be thorough and convincing. You need to convince your reader. Pretend they've never read anything that you are reading. The person reading this has no idea what you're writing about, whether it's me, Miss Yershak, or Miss Campbell, or someone from the state reading it. Pretend we have no clue what you're talking about. You need to convince us of your point of view. What word do we not use at all in our writing, unless it's opinion?
I think.
Go ahead,
I.
I, right? I think I, anything. You do not use I at all. It's a big no-no. Unless you are writing an opinion or someone's asking you for your thoughts specifically. We find new ways to state our point of view. Don't worry about what she's doing. Listen to me. Okay? It is very important that you try to find a different way to state your opinion or your point of view in argumentative, informational, essay writing, because those are the two that we hit on every single year. And it could be on your right score, any one of them, okay? You need to use a controlling idea. All this supports your controlling idea or your main idea of your paper. This is something that you're going to see a lot. Controlling, main idea, purpose. These are words that we need to get used to. They're big words, aren't they? They scare us. I know, I was in 6th grade and I had to do this. Trust me, essay writing is not the most fun thing in the world to do. Do you think it's fun for teachers grading them? No. But we do it because we want to help you. And one thing that we're going to do with this is when we return your essays back, we're going to return it with a spelling demon sheet. What a spelling demon sheet is you are going to put your version of the word that you spelled, and then you are going to write the correct spelling, which we will give you. We will circle it, and you will write it down. And this is something you're going to keep building on through the rest of the year, so you can improve your spelling and your grammar as we go along. Okay, effective use of sources, facts, and details. You're not just throwing a random quote in there. You're telling us where it comes from, why it's important, and giving us that little bit of information as to what in the world does it have to do with your topic at all. Okay, so you have to be able to explain it. That comes down to our writing format that we follow for paragraphs. Pearl. Okay? We'll be going over that, okay? I have that right on my wall. Another strategy that we can use is race, but they're very similar. And we are told to use Pearl. So, that's what we're going to use. Relevant evidence. Are you using evidence that is relevant to what you are writing about? That is super important. Okay, it needs to be precise as well. Have anything to add?
No, I think you're doing a great job so
wonderful.
far.
Wonderful.
Do you want me to hit on the next part? Just
Yeah.
switch it up?
Yeah.
Okay. So are there any questions so far about how you are tested on your writing? Does anyone have any questions about what these words mean? Okay. So the next part that you are tested in is your elaboration. And elaboration means how you can connect what you're learning to the text to your life or maybe something that you know. So elaborative techniques is you could use a specific definition from the text. So if I am reading about hurricanes and tsunamis, I might want to give a definition of what a tsunami is, because living in Florida, we don't have tsunamis here. So my reader might need to know a little bit more about that. Another way to elaborate is to give quotations. So if there's an interesting fact that you read about in one of your sources, you can add that in to tell and give more evidence about what you are teaching to your reader. And the last part is giving an example. So if you're able to connect it to the text, so if you are writing about hurricanes and you have actually been through one and you had to prepare and get food and water and make sure you had your gas tanks filled up, that would be an example of elaboration, where you're demonstrating that you know what you're writing about and you understand what you read. So those are really important things when you elaborate. Some other things that you want to do is make sure that you're using very clear vocabulary words when you write. So if I'm reading about an article on hurricanes and tsunamis, I'm going to want to use specific words that have to do with weather. If there's something mentioned in the article and it is talking about what I'm writing about, I'm going to want to put that in. And you're also going to want to make sure that your words are spelled correctly. So if I'm writing the word tsunami, I want to make sure that I look at the text and spell that correctly to get points for my conventions. And the last part is having a variety of sentences. So we want to be starting our sentences in different ways. This year, Miss Westfall and I are going to be working together, and we're going to show you different ways that you can read and write. So as we read text, we're going to look at how authors introduce topics. We're also going to be focusing on text structure, thinking about, should we be writing with cause and effect or sequencing? So we're going to be using those type of things. So do you guys remember last year learning about text structure? Okay. I want you to turn and talk to your partner. This row is going to be partner A. This row is going to be partner B. This row over here, partner A, partner B. Partner A, I want you to tell partner B what you remember learning about text structure in 5th grade, because it was taught a lot last year. And why do authors use text structure, and why should we be thinking about this when we write? Okay, so partner A's, please talk to partner B's. You have 1 minute.
Partner B is here, partner A is here. So Colton, you're talking to Raekwon, Angel, Julia in the back there.
Do you
Okay?
remember how it was like description, cause and effect?
The text structure.
Putting what?
Everything we went over. Turning and talking to each other.
A book has to do with writing. But how do authors write? What kind of structures do they use?
They would use the structure of drawing. We don't know. We don't know anything. We'll talk about what we do now.
Okay, partner A, please stop. Can I have any partner B tell me a text structure that their partner A told them? Over here. Can anyone tell me what your partner said about what is text structure? Can you tell me? What did your partner say? You couldn't hear him?
Yeah.
Okay. What did your partner say? Didn't say anything. Okay. Is there anyone over here? Okay. So text structure, when we are reading articles that are giving us information or explaining something, authors use a specific way to write to explain to you what the topic is about. For example, if I'm a scientist and I want to teach you about the periodic table of elements, I am going to use description, and I'm going to describe to you what that is. If I am a baker and I want to tell you how to make the best loaf of bread, I'm going to tell you a sequence of events that you need to follow. Starting at the store and what kind of flour to get, all the way to how long you could let your bread rise, and then what you do to put it in the oven. So I'm going to tell you step by step. So as we read informative or explanatory articles, we want to be looking at the text structure. Is the author using cause and effect? Is it maybe about a global disaster? And I need to be learning and explaining what happened after the disaster. So that would be cause and effect. Is it compare and contrast? Is it not fact and opinion? Is it describing something? Okay, so there are many text structures. We'll be doing a mini lesson on that. But you need to identify what you're reading to be able to write and make sure that you're focused in on your audience. So this is what's going to get you 4 points. So far, if we do 4 plus 4, we are up to 8 points. The last part that you are graded in is conventions of standard English. So it is blank because you cannot get 4 points or 3 points. But you can get 2 points. So you can get either a 2, a 1, or 0 points. So let's take a look at what you need for 2. Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah.
So if you take a look at the language, when you have a 4, right, you have hit everything. You are as specific and as clear as possible. I got one. Oh, okay. There's 2. Okay. When you are trying to hit a 2, you are somewhat sustaining the purpose, keeping the audience on the text. You are loosely related or extraneous material, which means you're being very vague. Okay? That's what that means. You're kind of hitting it, but not completely. So you need to make sure you're always hitting those points so that you can get a 4. We all struggle with this, okay? You're not alone. Teachers do too sometimes, so we always double check ourselves, have others look at our work to make sure we're hitting what we need to hit. Apologize, I'm a little out of breath here. And you may have a controlling idea with an inconsistent organizational structure. Can anyone tell me what that means?
What inconsistent?
May have a controlling idea, inconsistent organization. What does that all mean?
Like my handwriting.
If you're inconsistently having an organization structure, what does that mean?
To not have a consistent organizational structure.
But what does that really mean though?
That means like you're all over the place.
Right, you're all over the place.
Like my handwriting.
You have some kind of an organizational structure. It's somewhat organized, but you're picking things from random things that have nothing to do with what you're doing. Okay, you're jumping from one thing to the next too much. So you need to kind of reel that in a little bit. Okay, your controlling idea is insufficiently sustained or unclear. What is that telling us right there? Does the reader know what you're actually talking about? No. If it's unclear, I have no idea what you're talking about, or I may have a small idea, but you're not clear or specific enough. Your thesis statement is not there. Something is lacking somewhere. You're not using transitional strategies. You're just going from one thing to the next without making it connect to the other. When you are doing your body paragraphs, you always have to connect them back to your thesis statement or your controlling idea of the topic. And they have to flow. They have to have an order. How do you think the best way is to make sure we are following what needs to be done and in what order? How do we make sure we're hitting everything and doing that? What kind of things do we need? Sequence of events. So what I'm going to have you guys do is turn to talk to your partners, A's and B's talk. I want you to think of some things that we can use to help guide our organizational structure, what we can do in order to make sure our ideas. B's, you're going to tell A's this. Okay, B's talk to A's in order to tell me. How do we keep our ideas organized? What can we use to help us?
Make a organizer.
All right. A's, what did partner B tell you? Who can give me some ideas as what we can do in order to guide our writing?
Text evidence.
Okay, we need text evidence, but how do we know where to put them? What kind of things can we use in order to help make sure we stay on topic? An organizer. Okay, that's something really big. Right? An organizer, you can do it as simple as writing this. Intro. Right? You don't have to write this unless you want to. Paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, conclusion. Okay? And what am I going to put in each of these places? Right? Or you can create a whole graphic organizer, which we are actually going to give you when you write your informative essay next week.
Wait, what?
Ah, why do you think I'm doing this? Do you think I'm not having you actually write one?
Oh, you
That's what we had to do in fifth grade. We had to draw our own one.
Yep.
And do all that.
I love that. They drew their own.
I love that. Yes.
Can I leave? I don't want to do this.
You're
I'm not gonna
gonna have to do this no matter what school you go to.
I'm not gonna
Colton.
come to school next week. I probably won't.
Then you'll have to do it later.
I probably won't be here next week.
Connor,
You
the
still
saw
got
is
online
like-
school.
Well, when that happens, it happens. Okay, let's move on. Okay, evidence and elaboration. You wanna take that one?
Sure. Which one? Just the points for 201? Okay. So quickly, just to sum up, if you landed a 2 or a 1 for evidence or elaboration, it means that you're probably missing something. So when we score your writing, we're going to highlight where you fall. So for example, if you are using, let's say that you're not the best at citing your evidence. So you might be a little weak with that. So if you're citing your evidence, but it's not maybe fitting to the paragraph correctly, or you're not using the best source of information, we're going to work with you on that. So if you score a 2 for citing your evidence, you're going to see what you have to do to get to a 3. So this rubric we're going to use the whole year, and you use this all the way until 10th grade. This is how you're scored for writing, so you guys are really going to know what's expected. So we're going to use this to talk to you. If you get a 1, it means that your work was maybe minimal or absent. Maybe you didn't cite any evidence. So if you're just copying from the text, if you find something and you just look and say, ooh, that's a really good fact on tsunamis, and just write it in. But if you forget to cite your text evidence, then you're going to be at a 1. You have to tell me where you're getting your evidence from. So tell me about last year. How did you cite your text evidence? What did you do? How did you cite it? How did you tell that you got something from the text?
In the text, they said, or like, the author stated.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So you guys probably had a poster in your classroom with stems that told you how to cite your evidence. So the author stated. Did anyone ever say in source 1 or in source 2? Yeah, give me a thumbs up if you ever use that. Awesome. Perfect. So you guys know how to cite text evidence. And then elaboration, if you were to get a 2 or a 1, it would mean that your ideas were very simplistic. So maybe you started telling me about the topic, but you couldn't dig deep to tell me more. We want to leave our readers and our audience, really hooked and loving our writing. But if you only tell me a little bit, you're probably going to be at a 2 or a 1. A 1 would mean that maybe your ideas that you're telling me are confusing. Like I'm reading your paper and I'm just like, what is this about? I don't understand it. So that's what could get you at a 2 or a 1. Are there any questions on this part? Okay. And over here, I started to make an anchor chart breaking down how you're scored on each of these. Okay, do you want me to just bring this closer over to the camera?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Is it showing the whole thing?
Yeah,
Maybe
showing the
I'll
whole
put it
thing.
up so it's not in the shade so everybody can see it. So it's more in the light. Perfect. Okay, so I just made a quick anchor chart about how you're scored on your FSA writing for informative or explanatory writing. You can get 4 points for your purpose, focus, and organization. Oh, can sit clear on that. So 4 points for purpose is that you are addressing your audience and you have a purpose and a task. For the focus, your idea is clear and controlled throughout your whole essay. So you're not veering off and giving me extra ideas. Organization is, are you using transition words? Do you have an introduction and conclusion? And what kind of a structure are you using to convey your ideas? You also get 4 points for evidence and elaboration. Are you citing text evidence that's supporting your controlling idea? Are you using clear vocabulary words that were in the text? Elaboration. Are you telling me quotes, definitions, and examples to demonstrate that you understand what this text that you read was about? And then the last part, conventions. Just making sure that you have minor spelling errors, you're using capitalization and punctuation. So show me on your hands, how many points total can you get on the FSA writing this year? Show me on your hands, how many points can you get? What's the highest score you can get on this writing test? Okay. All right, so let me show you. 4 plus 4 plus 2 is what? 10. So you can get up to 10 points on this test. So 10 means you're perfect. If you get copied text or copied text, that means that you didn't cite your text evidence and everything was just copied and you didn't tell me where you got it, and that would be 0 points. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen because citing text evidence is so important. So 10 points total is what we're trying to strive for. Our goal for passing is about a 7. If you get a 7 or an 8, that's what we're looking for this year. All right. Thank you everybody at home tuning in. We appreciate you guys being here. If you have any questions.
It's just a recording, they're not.
Okay. If you have any questions, just put a comment in the discussion board and we'll help you. Thank you.
Also, those of you at home, I am giving out actual performance assessments today to all the kids that are here. If you are at home, there is a PDF version of the entire book on your assignment for tonight. Your assignment for tonight is to read the 2 readings for this essay and to take notes. Only the people who are at home doing this need to submit their notes. Everyone else just needs to do it in their book, and I will take a look at it tomorrow or next week when we get into it. You're looking at pages 58 to 61, I think 63.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, I'm coming around. I know there's a couple in here who still don't have one, but I'm working on it. Okay? So, thank you.
It starts on page 57.
So here. Okay? So you guys are going to be reading about tsunamis and road waves. Alright? So you are going to actually use this book. Please put your name in the book. If you are 8A kids, you will get one on Monday. But you will use the online version that I have submitted or given to you in order to do so for now. That's why you need to submit your notes to me. Okay?
Do we keep it?
It is yours. Put your name on it. Somewhere. Okay? Tomorrow we are going to go over a sample text. Okay? A sample essay. We're going to talk about more stuff. Again, I'm going to record all lessons. I know they're a little bit long, but please make sure you watch them. They're highly important for you to do so. And if you are in school every day, you can go back and rewatch these lessons in case you forget. All right? They're going to be posted on Schoology in the folder. All right?